now we are going to have a panel discussion about inclusiveness in male-dominant industries. That is why our moderator, Jelena Bratić, Services Solutions Executive at Microsoft, is going to talk with Dragana Mladenović, Capability Development Lead at Rio Tinto, Olivera Vujnović from Digital Enablement Team within the Technology Advisory Practice of KPMG, and Maja Anđelković, Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lead at the World Bank. Jelena.
Hello.
Hello,
can you
welcome.
Hear me?
You can start.
Okay. Thank you so much on your great introduction on one side. And today we speak a lot about digital economy, about digitalization and how it can help to women to become more active in our economy. But another side, also big greetings to my dear colleagues Olivera, Dragana, and Maja for your time. And I would like to speak with you regarding digital economy, and this is for sure great opportunity for women in general. But another side, situation is better than that was in the past, but we have huge space for improvement. And from that perspective, I would really like to encourage you to share your experience, tricks, how you find your way to be successful in digital transformation and IT industry in general, and practically to help others to be more inclusive in male-dominant industry. From that perspective, I would like to start with Olivera. I know that you're very passionate about digital technology, and I would like to ask you why it's actually important to empower more women to be passionate about technology and participating equally in creating the future. Olivera, you are muted. I think so.
Right, does it help now?
Yes, now is okay.
Yes,
Good.
Technology is a wonderful thing and very easy to navigate us to the right route if needed. Well, thank you very much for the nice introduction. I hope we can add value. And yes, I actually prepared to this event. So I looked at a little bit of the research that I have available that turned out to be the wider CIO research of 2020. And when it comes to diversity, I identified that 24% of worldwide companies reported that they are satisfied with the diversity level within their technology teams. That basically means that less than a quarter of worldwide organizations are happy with the diversity targets of the team that is actually in charge of their technology future and presence. And not to mention that that doesn't necessarily mean that they have a 50% of female representation, 50% because they, again, put their ambition on the realistic level, right? So this made me actually think a little bit further, and the question that you're asking, why is it important? Another data that I came across from the same survey this year actually tells us that the biggest portion of IT investment today in technologies goes to the IT solutions that are targeting customers, consumers, either to direct the engagement or technology tools to attract them, retain them, and so on. So if we see what is the typical customer base of a particular company, then it's diverse because technology is everywhere, and we can say a little bit more or less, but around half of the population is a female population. So by not actually balancing the technology teams and the customer base, what companies are doing, they're making a disconnect of the potential product that the team is making. And that's a dangerous thing a dangerous place to be. So when we asked companies that are happy with their gender diversity in technology teams, they told us a few things. The first one, they said that the gender diversity brought to them trust and collaboration across the organization, which is very important. They also said that they improved the engagement between their technology teams and the business. They said to us they gain access to the right skills. They increase the ability to innovate. And as I mentioned before, they created a better customer related products. So there are obvious, very business related reasons why to balance your technology team. But there is another reason coming from technology, and as you said, I'm very passionate about this, and this is a kind of a dangerous way to look at it, but we have to do, because technologies today they're a bit more aggressive. They are aggressive with the penetration. They're coming everywhere, and we may be aware or not, but they are even replacing our colleagues in the workplace. The work that was like a couple of years ago done by a human now is done by a soft bot. They're basically everywhere. So just imagine what would have happened if we had a gender bias coming from not gender balanced team implemented in, let's say, artificial intelligence products. So we may actually end up creating the future that is not really the great future, not the future we like to have. So definitely what we have to do is to try to balance technology teams.
Yes, for sure. And balance is always a very important part. And from other side, we are facing with stereotypes. And this is some legacy that we are finding, and we have to find a way how to handle that. But another side, Maja Anđelković is working as innovation and entrepreneurship lead at World Bank. And from that perspective, Maja, can you please tell us more about the effect of automatization exactly in that field, innovation and entrepreneurship? But from perspective, is it a chance that can make women more equal to men in, let's say, man-dominant industry, or another side can create rather a bigger gap that we have these days? What is your opinion and what is your experience from that perspective?
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. I really like the wording of this question. You're not asking whether it is automation that can make women more equal to men, but the process of automation creating a chance. And so I think it's important to get away from technological determinism, this idea that technology will determine what happens to us or around us. Because we know, thanks to generations of social scientists, that it's really technology and society intertwined, and it's humans who both create and use the technology. So this goes back to Olivera's point. It's not that technology is neutral per se, but we cannot hope for a miracle technology. And similarly, we should not feel powerless when a new technology that seems threatening appears in the market. So for example, we know that there are now robots replacing some women's work. The textile industry is one example. I was very surprised to learn that some of the best seamstresses can make a t-shirt in about 13 seconds. And I thought, well, this seems great, very difficult to replace. You know, it's fine kind of finger work. But the new robots that are coming on the market can make a t-shirt in about 3 seconds. And so you can see very quickly that, you know, this very impressive feat of a 17-second t-shirt kind of disappears in terms of productivity gains when you have a machine that makes a t-shirt in much less. But I want to go back to the determinism question. You know, if you go back and look at some technologies that have historically come on the market, there's a great story captured by a former professor of mine, David Kirsch. It's called The Electric Vehicle and the Burden of History. And it explains how the technology for electric vehicles had an excellent chance to take off in the early 20th century, in part thanks to Nikola Tesla, who was working on this very fervently, but it did not. Partially, the reasons were technical, but at least equally, the reasons were societal. And so instead, for the last 100 years, we've been burning the planet with a combustion engine, and only now are we kind of putting the society and the technology together to transition to something a little bit less polluting. So in the same vein, the automation processes are not inevitable. And I think the history lesson for women is that we have to be active, and we have to insert our own experiences and our reality into the production of all of these new wonderful, potentially wonderful, but not inevitably wonderful technology. And entrepreneurship is arguably the process by which society interprets technology. So the outcome really depends on the chance created by the entrepreneurship process, which of course I think women should seize.
Yes, for sure. And from that perspective, maybe let's see what is the experience of Dragana Mladenović and experience from, let's say, male dominant sector. Dragana, please, as we heard how mining sector needs for workforce is changing, could you please share with us whatever there is new chance actually for women to tap into traditionally male dominant industry, and what are the skills that can bring women into high value add position in this sector?
Absolutely, I'm glad to share this knowledge with all of you. First of all, thank you all, and I'm really honored to be here with you today. So prior answering to your question, I really need to go a little bit into context of our company and other projects, just because in my head, prior joining Rio Tinto, mining was a man-dominated job with a strong male workforce entering the mine with these manual drilling systems covered with dust and dirt, etc. But what I was amazed from the day one is that modern mining and how it's looked like with the new technologies. So thank to my colleagues that introduced this kind of duality between society and modern technologies. And in mining, we are really using technologies hand by hand with our operational work. So let me say, I won't tell you a lot about Rio Tinto as a global leader in mining, operating in 36 countries with 46,000 employees. Actually, what I want to mention is that I'm very proud to be female in mining. And why is that? Because first of all, Rio Tinto is oriented to sustainable mining. And if you ask me if mining is necessary in 21st century, of course it is, because majority of the things that we are currently having in front of us are coming from Earth. Therefore, mining is something that is leading this mankind progress, actually. So why is Rio Tinto so important to me? Because we are handling lithium and borate, which are energy of the futures. What does it mean? These minerals are completely supporting green economy. If you are already referring to Nikola Tesla and electrical vehicle, most of electrical car batteries are actually made from lithium. And thanks to Rio Tinto, now Serbia is in focus, having one of the most significant lithium deposits in the world. Our mineral, jadarite, is actually the one that is driving this revolutionary, let me say, 21st century mining industry. So what can I tell you about the demands of our work today? Today, we are shifting from manual and hard work to using technology, using smart technology, using exceptional working environment to really, let me say, completely create one stable work environment in underground mining, same like on the surface. So if I will join you in a few years from my office in underground mining, it will look like pretty similar to this one where I'm here today, because there is a lot of equipment and modern systems to support me. So mining has almost endless possibilities for women. And what is very important to underline here is that It's the industry that is based on teamwork, respect, diversity, and I really enjoy. I was in various production industries, but in mining you really feel this family kind of spirit. And especially in Yadar, where we have 2 women in the key senior roles in the leadership. So what are the skills that we need for the future? Actually, it's a combination of leadership skills together with technical and technological background, with geology, mining, data science, because we are really opening our doors to modern technologies. And on the other way, we want to have also high-skilled, or let me say high school working force. And I really want to see female operate our sophisticated technology in mine and leading our working groups. So women can really change the world. And I think having this concept of mining of 21st century, you really can influence not only society of today, but society of tomorrow as well. Rio Tinto will for sure be the one to promote this among young people and their parents. And we will also join with the educational institution to really upgrade curriculums and to do the upskillings to introduce virtual reality, data science, all what is now going on in our remotely managed plants. So this is, let me say, the main focus for us in the future period. And as I'm saying, data technology and virtual reality and 3D models are the ones that are leading our industry today.
Thank you. And this is great, actually, introduction for the next topic in context. Innovation is something which is not question of the future. This is question of today's, and we are facing this, let's say, lack of participation of ladies and girls in STEM industry in general. First of all, not only to be technical, deeply related and to be programmers or something like that, to be ready for some completely new occupation that we are waiting in 5-10 years, and Dragana greatly referring to that. But another side, Olivera, maybe your insights and thoughts as somebody who is coming from consultancy world, and as companies are nowadays actively seeking of way to modernize and to be more agile, to be more innovative in context, to be able to accept all of these available innovation. My question to you is how the large system as one that you are coming from is transforming to address these needs, and how are hiring practices changing in such of companies?
Right. I think it is. You're very right. Right. We are all fighting to get a bit more innovative labor force. The people and the environment there are equipped better to actually lead us to the next level. And diversity inevitable comes into equation. So we definitely strive to get a bit more female representation in our technology advisory practice. And I would say there are several areas we really actively look into it. I mean, if you really start from the very beginning, attracting someone to apply for the job, and we know that applications today, they also go automatically, right? So I think it is very important to be very open and honest that you are equal opportunity employer. And it may sound a little bit silly, but that is actually very important. Just because you are opening up to underrepresented groups, including a female in technology as we know it, that wouldn't consider applying for the job within your company. And to be very honest, it's good to be a technology expert today. If you're skilled in technology, you're definitely sitting on the right side of the labor market. So you don't need to look for a job for a longer. The companies are fighting for you. You may be in the better or less good technology field, but you are there, right? You're in the right place, right? And what we, as well as many other companies I came across in this region, we even offer people not to disclose their gender. Again, may sound as not a big thing, but the reality is that we send a very clear message. we are equal opportunity employer. We're going to assess your application fairly without even knowing what your gender is. And we actually do that for the other diversity perspectives, the origin and the other things, like not only the gender. But this is just the entrance to the company, right? Because we know that the recruitment is not a cheap exercise, and once you have a technically skilled female in your labor force, you actually want to ensure that she can fulfill her ambitions, that she can enjoy working, that she gets the energy from your colleagues, and we go down to culture. Because everything you talk openly, you really need to implement in your organization. And I'm honestly thinking about not only about the big stuff like the formal procedures, and of course they're there, right? But I'm talking about all small things, coffee breaks, little small pearly moments you experience in your organization where you really need to feel very welcome as a female in male predominantly industry. There is one thing that I'm really big fan of, and I think this is about the role models. And potentially companies are not very good there when it comes to having enough senior female. And I think the official statistic says that I think the worldwide we have 11% of female CIOs. I think Latin America is maybe a little bit better with some 16%, but Europe is down to 9% of CIOs being a female. So obviously there is a bit of issue with promoting women on the career ladder and making them to the very top, leading technology in the organization. So I think definitely there is still opportunities to improve there. We need to see why this is happening and why ladies are not making it, because, you know, 1 in 10, less than 1 in 10, we cannot really be proud of that, right? But this is very important. Then I think if there needs to be use of any opportunity to promote this sort of role models, and actually to try to make a connect between a younger technology experts with more experienced and more successful female technology experts, so that either in the form of mentorship or coaching, but this is actually very important. And what I can say with all this pandemic, things changed a little bit. So some paradigms really simply are broken, right? Because we are working from home now for months, right? And it's not surprised that in the middle of a meeting, our kids are just jumping in, or pets, right? And something that was a little bit of issue, like how I'm a female, I have 2 kids, and how my employer or my colleagues, well, this is all gone, right? And what I like the most within my teams, the teams that I'm engaged with, is we have male colleagues that actually look after babies after you know, during the meetings, right? So basically there is no difference. Right, so that's actually quite a good thing. Like pandemic actually brought some good stuff. However, there is one difference between consulting and maybe the other line of work, because when we are consulting and we advise companies about digital transformation and, you know, the technology overall, so you basically get across with a different culture, and not all organizations are the same. So you need to find a way that you as well change the organization in your business environment that leave the same values when it comes to diversity as you do, right? And I think someone mentioned previously in this event already about what's your why, so what are your values, and let's try to work with the companies that share a same or similar values when it comes to gender diversity.
Yes, and thank you, Olivera. You mentioned a few very important things that, yes, this COVID brings a lot of challenges, but another side, maybe this brings some features. And for sure, from some perspective, this is bug, from some perspective, this is feature. And absolutely, this pandemic accelerates digital transformation more than ever. even in very traditional countries like Serbia, we are now facing situation that children with more or less success have some digital classes. We are working from home like anywhere others. And other topic that I very like that you mentioned, this is role models. And I'm fully agree. I have this luck that I'm working in an international company, and Microsoft is very pay attention on diversity and same chance and equal chance for everyone, not only from gender perspective that you mentioned. This is also very important to be really diversity in context barriers regarding nationality, religious or sex orientation. But another side, role models in female community really missing. And this is not only something, let's say, for some traditional countries like Serbia or Balkans in general. This is also facing in Europe and worldwide, and this is absolutely space for improvement. And I'm happy that I'm having you on these panels and maybe motivate someone from younger generation and who is just jumping in STEM education and technology. But another side, Maja, from your perspective, we are speaking a lot today about digitally not so well educated women and challenges that they should face in the future. But another side, I would like to ask you about challenges that highly tech educated women like software engineers or something like that will face in technology driven world.
Thanks. Yeah, lots of really great points being made. I think many of us here are used to working in male dominated environments, and we don't think very much about it. But in Silicon Valley, only around 17% of technology startup companies have a female founder, and it's not usually the lead software engineer or the CTO. That's both a cause and effect of what I would call deep segregation of the genders that starts at birth, where girls, still get mostly dolls and wear pink. School where teachers are proven to be more likely to call on boys and expect more of boys, even when they have just been told before the class to pay attention and make sure that they give equal opportunity. University where women in technical streams are the minority and they keep dropping out as the years go by. And the workplace where conscious and unconscious biases dominate organizational culture in most places. I work for an incredibly progressive organization that has all kinds of flexible ways for us to work. We have a lot of fantastic women leaders, and yet, I see it almost on a daily basis. It's mostly unconscious, very nice people who mean well and still, describe women as good, but not quite ready. Yes. Or, perhaps some other team could hire this person and not us. And it's, I think, demotivating. So, what do we do about it, both for software engineers and the rest of us in tech and highly educated or careers with sort of high education, but I think it applies for everybody. I have a bunch of suggestions, all of which start with the letter M for better memory. I think mentors is a big one that everybody talks about, and I heard the other day this term mavens. So you have mentors which work with you every day and put in the time, and they show us their mistakes, struggles, lessons, so that the next generation pays a smaller tax on fighting these biases. But mavens are these kind of special types of mentors, usually more senior women, more visible women, perhaps something more like a guiding star or somebody that defines really what the direction is for an entire generation. Models, we need personal role models, but we also need organizational models. So we need more clarity into what kinds of organizational structures and hierarchies work for women. Management, we need actively and explicitly supportive management that sincerely realizes the economic value of gender equality and not, a talking point from the CSR department. We need male allies. We need the men, contrary to popular belief, not only because they have access, and are considered more persuasive in meetings and so on, but also for the same reason we need women. You know, we simply need the best and the brightest to fight this totally inefficient and outdated model of role division that sidelines women in the economy. We need machines, we need representative data and algorithms. We touched on that topic. If you have a smartwatch, you might do a little experiment where you go for a walk as yourself. You know, your profile is set to your age and gender and weight and whatnot. And then set it for a 35-year-old male and do the same walk or the same workout. And then set it for a 75-year-old woman. Even though it's you.
One more minute left.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, for the entire panel?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I'll leave it at the fun exercise of the smartwatch. If there is an extra 10 seconds and it hasn't been brought up, I was going to mention amplification in meetings, where women support what other women in the same meeting have just said, and they give credit and repeat the idea. This is a strategy that women in the Obama cabinet used very effectively, and I find it very compelling, practical.
Yes, thank you so much. And time is running very fast when you are in good company. My dear ladies, thank you so much on inspirational thoughts and insights, and looking forward for future cooperation, and maybe next year this time, but in face-to-face in Belgrade. Thank you so much.